There's new speculation and possibly some new details this week about Apple's next generation of Apple Silicon. Many of us think it's going to be called the M2, and there's some possible details coming out from the Chinese language website Commercial Times. They seem to think that Apple's M2 chips will be coming in the second half of 2022, along with new M2 versions of the Pro and Max processors coming in the first half of 2023. Now, they say the chips will use TSMC's newer 4 nanometer manufacturing process, which should yield performance gains over the current 5 nanometer designs. What's not clear about the report is how these new chips fit into Apple's lineup in terms of timing. And if you want to think that the M2 Pro and M2 Max versions would be part of the Mac Pro transition to Apple Silicon, then these dates might actually fall outside of Apple's own 2-year deadline. And we've been hearing that there should be some updates coming for the Mac Pro and maybe a new iMac fairly soon, probably in the first half of 2023. So timelines aren't lining up exactly. Commercial Times has sort of had mixed results on Apple rumors, so I'm taking some of this with a grain of salt. I'm going to give you some of my thoughts too here in a moment on where and how these things could fall into the cycle. But Apple has been sort of all over the place in recent years with when and how they launch new Macs, especially the M1s. That's kind of thrown things off. Essentially, we had fall announcements for Apple Silicon in both cases, with the MacBook Air, 13-inch MacBook Pro, and Mac Minis coming in 2020. And then that was followed up, as you likely know, this year with the 14-inch and 16-inch updates for the MacBook Pros in 2021. Now, one exception to that was the release of the 24-inch iMac, which happened earlier this year, back in the spring of 2021.